I believe education allows me to turn every challenge into an opportunity. So, moving ahead, uh, again, I would like to welcome all of you. Namaste and a very warm welcome. I'm Regina Khatimagar, one of the GPE youth leader from Nepal. And today I'm honored to be your moderator for today's Future Festival, and I'm really grateful to welcome all of you. Similarly, now I'd like to request my co moderator to introduce herself among all of you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Regina, for that. My name is Memorita Belabanda, and I am a youth leader from Zambia. Well, I would also like to share my insight and thought on what I think education is in my language. To start with, I would like to say that in my language, we call education in relation to school. So we call it sikulu or sukulu. So for me, education coming from a very underprivileged background, it has always meant so much to me. Borrowing from Mandela's words, which he says that education is the most powerful tool that we can use to actually change the world. To me, education means that it's a powerful resource that can help one's life to actually change. And also, not only that, help them to improve as a citizen of a member state country, whichever country you're from. I believe that education enables us to be able to be a better citizen and also be a better contributor to our society as well as our countries at large. Thank you so much. And I am so happy today to be your co moderator for the day. And I look forward to engaging and having great, insightful conversations today. Over to you, Regina.
Thank you so much, my lovely co moderator. And yes, education is not a privilege, it's a human right, basic human right. So we need to ensure that every children have that. And once again, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. This Future Festival is solely organized by GPE youth leaders. And talking a little bit about what GPE is. So, GPE is the world's only partnership and funding focused on providing quality education to the children, especially in lower income countries. And these festivals celebrate the youth voices and also remind us that investing in education how can truly transform the lives. So today, through discussions, performance, interactive sessions, and interesting segments, we will explore how education can drive equity, resilience, peace, and global progress. And especially to everyone who are watching on social media, please feel free to engage in the comment sections. Now, come join me and let's explore, engage, and take action because now is the moment to power up the education. Now, quickly, I'd like to have the honor to welcome Honorable Dr. Habibato Drame, Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, the Zambia, for her keynote speech. So please join me to welcome her. The floor is your Honorable Dr. Habibato.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Regina, and all the youth leaders who are present on this platform. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored and profoundly grateful to address 25 future festivals. This is a very crucial moment as you let global time that we talk about education, which is the future of the world. I am truly delighted to be associated with this powerful vision and to represent the Gambia and by extension, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. I believe that every child deserves opportunities in education, equity, and resilience. The theme for this youth-led gathering now is the moment to power up education is not just inspiring, but also incredibly timely. As we collectively work to ensure that no child is left behind and that education serves as a foundation for a brighter future and for a more inclusive future makes this gathering even more exciting. We are aware across the world that our education systems undergo or grapple with challenges. These include challenges in shortfalls, conflict in some cases, climate threats across the board, and of course, we also have challenges of inequality.
Uh, are you there, Doctor Habibato? I think there is some technical errors issues she faced with like while giving. So sorry. I hope that she will come again and join us. If she will be joining us, we will again try to connect with her and give her the time to give her speech. And I believe this is very important and powerful that she even tries to give us the time for this impactful session, because those leaders are very important and play a crucial role in making and power up the education. So similarly, moving forward now, let me have the honor to welcome Mariam Bamaris, the keynote speaker, to deliver her speech in the action to promote the quality education. So please, the floor is yours, Mariam.
Hello, Regina. Hello, Memory. I hope you're doing great. Honored guest, respected colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen. I am Mariam Bamahrez. I am from Yemen, and I'm really honored to be here, not only to speak about quality education, but only to meet you, all of you. We're talking about education and quality education, where we should actually start talking about the problems itself. And I'm gonna take a talk about like the Yemeni context when I'm talking about problems. Here in Yemen, we're facing ongoing conflict, we're facing a deep poverty, and we're facing a lot of emergencies happening here in Yemen. And I think, in my opinion, that quality education would be the key to actually solve all those issues. Um, because education could actually where build awareness, could actually help generate like youth leaders that would actually lead into future efforts. And let's say that education is not a privilege, it's not for only like rich people. Education, it's a must, it's a right, and it should be accessible for any human. uh, and this kind of right would actually play as a tool, not only to restore peace, but also to recover economies and to protect local communities. Um, if I'm going to talk about Yemen, I'm going to talk about the education crisis that we're facing today. Today, teachers in a lot of governorate here in Yemen are having strikes. They don't want to teach anymore. And the reason for that, their salaries are very low, comparing it to the inflation that we're having with the local currency. And some of them they're not actually even receiving salaries. And for that, classrooms are actually empty. And our education system is about to collapse. And like, imagine a country that doesn't have education. How would the future generation would be? How is our future here in Yemen? we actually need a lot of effort. We need international efforts. And when I'm talking about international efforts, I want to actually refer to GPA, the Global Partnership for Education, because the Global Partnership for Education actually helped Yemen for several years. It helped actually build schools. It helped actually in even training teachers. And the most important thing, it helped empowering rural women to actually educate their communities, educate their children, to actually restore our future leaders. And we actually need more than that. We need quality education to be resilient. We need a quality education to be accessible. We need quality education also to be future oriented. And like just imagine Yemen with quality education and with very educated leaders. How would it be? It would be our ongoing conflict would end. Our cycle of poverty would actually resolve, and communities would have the resilient it needs to actually face emergencies. And I'm always talking from climate side because I'm working in climate fields, and I'm saying climate needs people that is educated, that is able to face this kind of disasters that they're facing. So yeah, and because I'm talking about climate, I'm just going to refer to my personal experience working in climate. If I didn't get the quality education that I needed, I wouldn't actually have won with the award from the UNDP for the best climate project here in Yemen. I wouldn't have been able to do my initiative, which is called Greener. And when I'm talking about Greener, I'm going to say that Greener is an initiative that actually help educate people about climate. And when I'm talking about people, I'm talking about children, I'm talking about youth, I'm talking about rural women, and I'm talking about anybody who's interested. So yes, that's why that's why education is very important. And from people who actually got a chance from me and from other people, I would say that um, we need education, we need climate education, we need quality education to change Yemen. We need quality education to change the world, and we need quality education to actually have better future for our future generation. And from here, I will call for millions of people to actually invest in education, to invest on us, and to invest in future. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mariam. It's really amazing. Thank you so much for your invaluable words, and it's truly enriching, and it's really critical to draw the attention towards investing in education. Thank you so much once again. And now, moving forwards, it's time for the spotlight session, and I'd like to request Tamilade, youth consultant from GPE, to facilitate and take this floor over. Over to you, Tamilade.
Thank you so much, Regina. Okay. All right. So I think Minister Drame is back, and she would like to finish her keynote, and then I'll be back. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Tamilade. Honorable Dr. Habibatu, are you there?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry I lost connection. I am back. Maybe if I can indulge, I can maybe stop the video. Otherwise, the quality of my network can quickly go down. Just to continue, I mean, it's interesting and it's very important that we all know that investing in education is the smartest investment that we can make. And in my country, we are committed to universal access, which we have been able to match by a relentless drive for quality. We continue to expand enrollment, particularly for girls and rural children, but we must go further on this, ensuring every classroom is very well equipped, every teacher trained and motivated, and that every child nurtured not just to learn, but to thrive. We know the transformative power of education, and it is the engine for the national development of the Gambia. And it is also a shed against poverty and the pathway to peace for everyone. For this reason, as a system and for a global call, as a global call, we must all prioritize increased investment, both within our domestic resources and international partners to close the education financing gap that exists around the world, and that we must all continue to champion innovation, especially in the use of digital tools, community engagement, and youth leadership to ensure that learning is relevant and resilient, even in times of difficulties. We must also work together to empower our youth, and the voices of the youth are seen here today, and also to include them at every table where discussions about their futures are made. We can do this together, and this is a very crucial moment in our educational landscape, and it is very important that we do this for the sake of the children and children of the world. We as a country will continue this commitment for the sake of everyone and our communities and our future, to ensure that we deliver an educational opportunity to every child around the world, so that they can be very productive and impact meaningfully in the national development of our respective countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Habita Batu, for your such invaluable words. And we are really grateful for your time and your keynote speech. And we believe we need more leaders like you to power up the education and to ensure that every children has that opportunity and the access to quality education. Thank you once again. And now, moving forward, I'd like to quickly get back to you, Tamilade. It's over to you for the spotlight session.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Regina. Thank you, Minister Drame. I'm very, very excited to be presenting the youth statements today and also share with you what we worked on. I say we because I know some of the people on this webinar were part of the global consultation that we did and some of the regional consultation that we did. On that note, I would like to say good day, everyone. Today we're launching the GPU statement, a collective call for change from young people across the world. And if you might ask, why are we launching a youth statement and why are we launching it now? We believe that as young people, we live in a world brimming with so many opportunities, however, brimming with many challenges also. We can all see the inequalities, the climate issues, the youth unemployment, conflict, and the way we are living in a fast-paced digital change that is reshaping our futures collectively. But in all of this, we can all agree that education is that one thing that has the ability to multiply possibility more than anything else. It's how we build stronger communities, fairer societies, and a better world for everyone, no matter your background, gender, or ability. So this statement is the result of global and regional consultations that some of you might have joined with young people across the world. So the statement is not just another document. I know you've probably seen so many other statements around, but just to say again, that it's your collective voice, hundreds of young people across the world, and it contains our aspirations, priorities, and the bold ask we have for our world leaders. So you might ask, why does education matters and what is the call for world leaders? We believe education multiplies possibility for all of us because it opens doors to decent work and real opportunities. It builds inclusive and peaceful societies, helping us break the cycles of poverty. The reason why you're on this call and you can hear what I'm saying is because you're educated. And it also promotes gender equality and equity, challenging discrimination and societal norms for everyone. Lastly, it empowers us to lead change, to speak up, and tackle global challenges like climate change and inequality. And this is why we're making an urgent call to world leaders to invest boldly in education. We need quality, We need inclusive and relevant education systems backed by resources, not just by talks, by innovative financing and unwavering commitment, especially for the most marginalized and people who need it the most. So if I would simply put, we're asking that world leaders should put their fund where their mouth is and invest in what matters, which is education. Now you're asking, what is your role? How do I come in? I would like to also establish that GP is a vital partner in turning this vision into reality. Over the past years, GP has been rallying support to unlock the power of education where it matters the most across the world. But these statements, no matter how powerful, it definitely needs your voice to truly multiply the impact. So my call for you today, or what we're asking that you should do while you're on this call, is quite direct and very, very simple, is to read the newly launched GPU statement, understand what is in the statement. It's very short. We made it very short for you so that you don't have to read long, write-up of documents. And most importantly, not just read it, we want you to sign it, add your name, and also fill the link and put in your signature. So you're not just endorsing a document, you're joining everyone and a united global call for change and helping us make our message clear and very loud to reach the decision makers and the people who need to listen and also see the use statement. So I'm going to pop in the link to the use statement in the chat. We just newly launched it and you'll be able to read everything that the use statement entails. And please do put in your signature. But beyond that, visit our social media pages for GPE and you see all of our posts. You can definitely repost, share your thoughts on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or on Twitter, now X, right? So investing in education is definitely investing in our future. So if you feel that this is something that is very important and education needs to be at the forefront of investment in development, please do click on the link I'm about to pop in the chat, sign the GPU statement and share with your friends, your colleagues, your organizations and institutions. Let's multiply possibilities together. And thank you so much for having me. Back to you, Regina.
Thank you so much, Tamilade. I believe this spotlight session and this enlightenment couldn't be amazing more than this. Thank you so much for great insight and such a valuable words. And now it's time for some more engaging and interesting segments. We are moving to a quick interactive poll and Q&A session. And to guide us through this engaging segment, I'm excited to welcome Ranka Chance from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Inilua Ogunkaye from Nigeria. Please join me to welcome them, and the floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from every part of the world that you are joining from. I'm really so excited to be here. And I'm Iniolu Agukeye from Nigeria, and I am thrilled to co-lead this interactive segment with Riyanka. As young people leading this conversation, we want to hear your voices, and so let's get started with a quick poll to see where we stand. I'm going to hand over to Riyanka so she can introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good night, wherever in the world you are. I am Rianka Chance from the beautiful Caribbean multi-state island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the GPE Youth Leader for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Today, I am excited to lead this poll with my partner, Ini Olua from Nigeria. So let's get this poll started. Let's get our answers kicking. Question number 1. What do you think is the biggest barrier to quality education in your country? Please just take a few seconds to vote. We want to know what you think the biggest challenge in your country is. While the results are coming in, let's think about why this challenge matters to you and your community.
Okay. All right, I'm going to move to the second question now. Thank you so much, Riyanka, for that. Interesting. But we're still waiting to see the response to the first question.
Yes, a lot of people has chosen that lack of funding is indeed the biggest challenge in their country.
Yes. Thank you, Riyanka, for that. I'm going to be moving on to the second question now. Um, what would most improve education financing? What would most improve education financing? Let's dive into the solutions. What do you believe will most help secure better financing for education in your country? Go ahead and vote. Well, I'm waiting and anticipating your responses. Okay. I have the responses here now. This is powerful. Many of us believe that political will and commitment is key to change. And that tells us something important about where we should focus our advocacy. And this is so great to see many of us are already active. And for those of us who want to get involved, we have just the thing coming up soon. All right, thank you so much for your responses. You have just shown us the power of collective youth voices. And if you want to keep pushing for change, don't forget to sign the youth statement on GPE financing. Let's work together to ensure every child everywhere has access to quality education. Riyanka, do you want to say something?
I want to say thank you so much to our audience for being such a good sport. And don't forget to sign the GPEU statement on GPE financing. Let us indeed work together to make that change we want to see.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Iniliwa and Ranka, for such an engaging segment. Now, let's go for the fireside chat. And to facilitate this timely discussion on a critical question, why investing in education is important for the global economy. Please join me in welcoming Rame Levos, GP Youth Leader from Lebanon, who will be leading us through this insightful session. Now, the floor is all yours, Rame.
Thank you so much, Regina. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this interesting fireside chat. I'm Rami Lubbus. I'm a GPE youth leader from Lebanon. And today's conversation is about one urgent truth. Investing in education means investing in the global economy. So with millions of children and youth struggling and facing losses, now is the time to reinforce and reimagine education systems globally. Today, we are honored to have with us two special guests. First, let me introduce Amira Paul. She's the Director for Education and Ending Violence at the Global Affairs in Canada. She is a leader in advancing education, especially for marginalized groups. And second is Laura Fugenti. She's the CEO of the Global Partnership for Education, guiding efforts to transform education systems around the world for long-term impact. Let us start this long-awaited topic with a few questions. I'm going to start by addressing Amrita Paul. Hello, Amrita Paul. So, what are the short and long-term impacts your country hopes to achieve by investing in education globally? And how do these align with Canada's broader development priorities?
Super. Good morning, everyone. And I'm here in Ottawa, Canada, and super happy to be here with all of you today for this exciting event. If I could just start, Rami, I saw a youth quote that I wanted to share that I think actually captures the moment. And I'll just read it. We are not the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of today. Give us the mic and we'll show you the future. So thank you very much to all of you for sharing the mic and for bringing the urgency, the ambition, and the vision that actually defines this moment. So I was asked to speak about what my country hopes to achieve. And I would really say that education is a cornerstone of Canada's international development strategy. We believe that investing in education really is investing in peace, prosperity, and resilience. It's one of the most powerful levers that we actually have that can reduce poverty, prevent conflict, and unlock the economic opportunities that you've all been speaking about, especially for those who are most marginalized. In the short term, I would say that Canada's investments really aim to restore and expand access to quality education, particularly for girls, for refugees, and children in crisis-affected settings. Since 2019, Canada's support has reached over 53 million learners and nearly 1 million teachers through global education partnerships. In the long term, I would say our focus is on supporting partners to transform their education systems to make them more inclusive, more equitable, and resilient. And this really aligns with the GPE 2025 strategy that you've referred to, which emphasizes gender responsive planning, innovative financing, system-wide reforms, and capacity building. From basic education to TVET, which is technical and vocational training and education, our investments really reflect our focus to ensure young people are prepared for the future of work. And our investments in education aren't standalone. In fact, they're deeply connected to the broader development goals that we have, which is in gender equality, empowering girls through education is central to our international assistance policy. Economic growth, every additional year of schooling increases individual earnings by 10%. And global stability, education reduces the risk of conflict by 20% and builds more powerful societies. So we're also very committed to innovative financing solutions at a time of global fiscal constraints. And these include social impact bonds, such as our Outcome Fund for Education in Colombia, which we also call OFFER Project, portfolio guarantees through International Finance Facility for Education, and with GPE through its Multiplier Fund, which has been very successful in mobilizing additional resources for education. So looking ahead, the upcoming GPE and ECW replenishments are actually pivotal. They're not just fundraising moments, but they're opportunities to protect and accelerate progress, even in a time of these fiscal restraints. So we, Canada, are committed to education for today's leaders and for generations to come. So thanks very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for sharing these interesting points with the interesting quote about we are not tomorrow's leaders, but today's leaders. And whether we're talking about the importance of investing in education that promotes peace and resilience, as well as reduce poverty and increase stability. Also talking about the short-term goals to support marginalized groups, but also the long-term goals of supporting partnerships around the world. And then the alignment with Canada's priorities with gender equality and ensuring that young people are prepared for their future lives at work, as well as the innovative solutions. So we are interested in innovative solutions, especially in financing and with other partners. Thank you so much, Amrita. I'm going to be passing now the mic to Laura. So hello, Laura. I'll be asking the question. Why is investing in education critical for the global economy? And how is GPE currently helping countries make the kinds of investments that drive long-term impact, growth, and resilience?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rami. And thanks everybody for, inviting me to be here with you in this very important moment. And I have to say, I enjoyed very much your youth statement. And I hope that so many of you take up Temi's invitation to actually read it and sign it. Why is investing in education important? Well, let me just say something really simple. Things in the world happen because people make them happen. And they make them happen because they have the right skills to make them happen. And they only acquire the right skills through education. So if you do not, there is a kind of a false dichotomy that either you invest in education or you invest in the other sectors. A lot in the social sectors is a debate in donors' mind. Should we invest in education or should we invest in health? The reality is that for any of your investment in whichever sector to yield the results that you expect, you have to have people with the right skills that transform these investments into impact. And this only happens if people have the right skills. So I do want to say that education, the way that we see it, is foundational to any other investment, is the cornerstone that allows society to grow, that allow individuals to actually being able to follow and chase and achieve better opportunities, that allows society to reduce inequalities, to build stronger institutions, to be more stable. All this happens because of these investments. So what GPE is doing in this environment of very limited financial resources and growing, unfortunately, financial constraints, is to do two things. I mean, first of all, is to work with donors, making them understand what are the important policy changes that will allow them to get the best possible results. So what is the smartest investment? And I think that I was very happy to see that, in your poll, everybody gave a lot of priority to political will. Political will needs to be grounded into evidence. So we try to provide that evidence that will allow then policymakers to make the right decision. And then we mobilize resources, we mobilize traditional resources, but more and more we mobilize additional resources, innovative resources through our financial mechanism to make sure that we support governments in their trajectory towards a kind of a more sustainable financing for the sector and having the resources that will allow them to really build the education sector that is needed to build the skills of the future, the skills that will allow people like you to actually have access to the new highly advanced and sophisticated jobs that are going to be in the labor market.
Thank you so much, Laura. We're talking about people. How do people make things happen in life? They need skills and they need to acquire these skills. So the importance of investing in education to build these relevant and skills workers. And in reality, we need these skilled workers for any foundation, for any other investment. So it is kind of tackling the root of the problem. As well as GPE's priorities of basically we have a scarce resources and we need to allocate them. So you work with donors to acquire funds and then mobilize these resources efficiently and effectively to finance through the financial mechanism, and finally supporting governments to basically build educational systems that are offering quality education and education for everyone, basically. Thank you so much for both of your input. Now I will be sharing my thought as a GPE youth leader on what innovative approaches I think are necessary to overcome educational challenges faced by youth in my region specifically. So as a student, as myself a student from Lebanon, I've seen how youth face major barriers, whether economic collapse, support infrastructure, to few qualified teachers, war, and pressure, psychological or social. But I'm here today to tell you that youth out here are not hopeless. They are actually searching for a better future, but they are in desperate need of help. So I thought about just two quick ideas that could be helpful. The first one is an obvious one, but I think it's a very important one, which is modernization and digitalization of schools. In today's world, I think the internet is no longer a luxury. It has become a necessity. It is as essential as food, water, and shelter. Because basically, without it, you're shut out of society, you're shut out of education, work, and even basic information. And even now, with the development of the world and digitalization and the increase in demand, the supply here is still very limited. Schools are in need of these tools and equipment like Wi-Fi, like laptops, like tablets. And let's be real, the majority of us don't have these. So just a short-term solution and it is a cool solution. Could be to basically give them educational tools specifically for phones. The majority of us have phones, so voice notes, low data apps, even SMS-based quizzes. These are small ideas that can work in places with few resources or limited resources. Another thing is basically student-led centers. So these centers could be all over Lebanon and different neighborhoods, and they basically offer workshops, sports, music, debates, and skill building activities to any youth. Basically, I believe in our region and even in the entire world, full of culture, tradition, religion, and different backgrounds, I think education has a role and a responsibility to do more than just teach us math or English. I think it should help us understand each other through open conversation, through cultural exchanges, and through collaborative projects. So these ideas again may sound simple, but with the right support, they can start small and grow big. If we give youth the tools, the space, and the trust, the youth themselves will give us the tools, the space, and the trust for us to grow economically and socially. One final bullet question for both of our guests today. So what bold policy shift or commitment is most needed now to ensure education investments truly prepare the next generation for the future? Laura, you can start by answering this question.
Well, I think that, the single most important change that I would like to see is a commitment to maintaining a very stable flow of resources to education. Education is like a marathon, it's not a sprint. If you invest 1 year and then you don't invest the following year, the first year investment is actually, it doesn't yield any kind of results. So government needs to understand that education takes some time, is a long-term investment, but there is no other investment that actually yields better rates of return. So we need to have a commitment to steady, stable, and hopefully growing flows of funds to the sector to really allow the transformation.
Thank you so much. Passing the mic to Amanita.
Absolutely. So let me offer 3 points linked to the main idea that education is best delivered by country-led, high-quality education systems that are really sustainably financed with domestic resources. So the first one is to prioritize equity in national budgets and donor financing so that systems can actually serve the hardest to reach. The second would be to link education financing to concrete outcomes, so that taxpayers and donors see the tangible results of their investments. And lastly, and third, we must always ensure that we listen to the youth voices and their concerns, because without youth, there's nothing. We can't proceed. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. I was actually going to end with this. So basically, to just wrap up, I think we should put youth at the center of our decision making rather than just at the receiving end, because they play a very important role in this decision. And let us co-create solutions, shape curricula, and contribute ideas. And all of these projects are actually possible through investing in education and acquiring funds. So thank you so much again for all of you. And I'll be passing the mic to Regina. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rami, for leading such a very insightful and thought-provoking fireside chat. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Hafsat for the next performance that she's supposed to lead us into. Hafsat, over to you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to be part of this beautiful gathering. The title of my spoken word piece proper is People Like Me. And this piece, just a small background before I start, this piece is inspired by my background. I grew up in a highly remote area in Nigeria, and in that area, it's almost impossible to have access to education. But today, I'm a very, very positive contributor to foster societal change in my immediate community and even globally. I've worked with countless organizations around the world to foster change, positive change, that will involve women and girls, gender, and even education. And today I'm also a GP youth leader from Nigeria. And I will not be able to achieve all of this if I did not have access to education. And I will not be able to have access to education at the kind of remote area that I was born, if not for the ripple effect of the intervention from organizations like GPE and the ministry in collaboration. So today, there are 1,000,001 other kids like myself who have not had access to the kind of education I've been able to have access to. And not to say that I'm lucky or anything, but we could increase the chances of people like me getting this kind of opportunity if we expand and empower education more to these underrepresented communities. So without further ado, I'll just go ahead straight ahead to the spoken word piece titled People Like Me. Here we go. I do not think I am lucky. I do not think I am lucky. I do not think some breeze of fortune lost her way and wandered onto my palms, cause people like me don't get too many chances. People like me are born with too many inadequacies. People like me are constant acquaintances to inconveniences. Youths like me are like walking currencies, sustainable entities, young, vibrant, talented, goal-oriented, passionate, compassionate. But what if we're good people? What if you're all of that and more then? What to do with a basket full of limitations? What to do with aspirations and poor health and poor education? Tell me, how do you chase dreams on empty stomachs? Of what use is talent? Of what value is potentials? What gain is in intelligence with no exposure? What to do with no ways to school? What to do with ideas and no tools? What to do with a handful of means and a pinch of means for these dreams to come true? See, youths like me are like diamonds in the rug of unfavorable circumstances. We're like fighter lands with no seats, dreamy houses with no doors, survivors to the core. See, I am not of riches, not of silverwares or golden spoons. Yeah, I bloomed from doom. I was born in dirt, earth, mud, and clay. So if today I am hurt, if today I get to have a say on behalf of people like me, I'd say that people like me don't get lucky. Because for people like me, luck is like a random sunshine, an eclipse of a blue moon, a compensation for a determined doom. And on this race for life, for growth, and for the future, people like me need more than talent, more than motivation, more than potentials. People like me need more than big hearts and big dreams. So we need means for these dreams to come true. And I'm not even complaining. I'm explaining that if inclusive and sustainable education is too high a price to pay today, then ignorance and lawlessness is a debt we'll have to pay another day. I'd say we act today. I'd say we bring this future today. I'd say today and now is the moment to power up education. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hafsat. You would agree with me that that was definitely a piece of art. That was definitely magical, not only relatable, but very much powerful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the next segment, which will be led by Karen, and she'll be facilitating on a question and answer discussion, which is going to focus on the domestic financing to improve fundamental skills for future growth and also for the support of education. Karen, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our fireside chat on domestic financing and how to improve foundational skills for future growth. My name is Karen, as Marie said. I'm going to be your moderator for this session. And today we're going to explore how investment in education can drive economic and social progress. Today, I have a distinguished speaker with me who's going to share his thoughts, and he's going to bring his unique perspective on this very important topic. And this is Honorable Daniel Sponda, who is the Secretary of Education in Honduras. So, Honorable Daniel Sponda, I would just like to ask, could you share with us your government, how your government is investing to improve foundational skills in education, and what has been the impact of some of these investments on education in Honduras?
Buenos días para todos y para todas. De verdad que un gusto poder compartir con ustedes sobre todo un tema tan importante que es el tema del financiamiento del sistema educativo. En primera instancia, cuando llegamos al gobierno en el año 2022, uno de los principales retos era reaperturar las escuelas después de la pandemia, porque fuimos uno de los últimos países de la región en América en reaperturar las escuelas. En ese sentido, nosotros definimos una planificación y no nos hemos salido de esa planificación. En el marco de esa planificación, que nuestro primer objetivo es leer y escribir bien, es decir, que nuestros niños y niñas lean y escriban bien. Nuestro segundo objetivo es que sean capaces de comprender y analizar lo que se lee y lo que se escribe. Y el tercer objetivo es el desarrollo de lógica matemática. El cuarto objetivo son el desarrollo de habilidades digitales. Y el quinto objetivo es que sean capaces de transformar su entorno para bien. De esos 5 objetivos que nosotros definimos, logramos hacer discusiones fuertes dentro del gobierno, también con el sector privado, las organizaciones no gubernamentales, y en esa misma lógica participamos de la agenda, digamos, del GPI. Una de las principales actividades que hicimos fue la actualización curricular por competencias. Eso nos permitió revisar los planes y los programas y adecuarlos a las necesidades que tenemos, impulsando un enfoque de inclusión. ¿Esto por qué? Porque la pandemia dejó, digamos, en el camino o al margen del derecho a la educación a miles de niños y de niñas. Uno de los resultados, digamos, de esa primera adecuación nos permitió identificar algunas falencias en los diferentes niveles del sistema educativo y construimos el plan de recuperación de los aprendizajes. Esa estrategia específica nos permitió nivelar a los estudiantes en el año 2022, pero sobre todo diseñar acciones específicas en las diferentes regiones del país para fortalecer o trabajar los objetivos que nos habíamos definido. Esa planificación que nosotros hicimos permitió que fuese más fácil encontrar recursos en fondos nacionales, en fondos internacionales y en fondos de ayuda para hacer intervenciones más asertivas. Uno de los resultados importantes de esa planificación, digamos, y de ese Plan Nacional de Recuperación de Pérdidas, es que identificamos que teníamos una infraestructura escolar bastante deteriorada. Y en lo que va de nuestro gobierno se han invertido más de 5.000 millones de lempiras en el tema de reconstrucción de la infraestructura escolar. Pero además de ese tema, desarrollamos algunas estrategias con recursos adicionales para poder tributar a los objetivos, sobre todo el de leer y escribir bien y a la capacidad de comprender y analizar lo que se lee y lo que se escribe. Definimos 2 estrategias bastante importantes. Una le llamamos la estrategia de los 15 minutos de lectura, que eso abarcaba educación prebásica, básica, donde los estudiantes junto a sus maestros detenían durante 15 minutos la jornada de clases para leer 15 minutos cualquier cosa. Es decir, podría ser un libro de texto, podría ser una revista, podría ser un periódico, pero durante 15 minutos todos los días, los estudiantes de educación prebásica hasta 9º grado se detenían para leer cualquier cosa. Lo que buscábamos con ellos y lo hemos alcanzado es el desarrollo de la costumbre de la lectura. Por otro lado, con los muchachos de 7º a 12º, el libro del mes. Es decir, la clase se pone de acuerdo, todos los muchachos y las muchachas, en leer un libro que no necesariamente sea lo que están discutiendo en el salón de clase, sino un libro que les llame la atención a todos y a todas. Y en el marco de ese libro del mes hacen análisis, hacen lecturas colectivas, pero además hacen análisis e interpretaciones de este libro que han decidido leerlo durante un mes. En muchas ocasiones, por supuesto que el libro se leía durante más de un mes, pero el libro del mes nos ha servido para despertar las inquietudes de nuestros estudiantes, para buscar lecturas adicionales o identificar algunas lecturas que a ellos particularmente les llamen la atención de manera colectiva, para poder abrir discusiones. Eso nos permitió también, esa estrategia nos permitió también encontrar recursos adicionales, dado que la Secretaría de Educación de Honduras en el año 2022 todavía no tenía sello editorial. Y al día de hoy ya tenemos sello editorial, estamos haciendo investigaciones científicas, tenemos abierto nuestro sello editorial para que profesores, escritores y los mismos estudiantes tengan un espacio donde puedan publicar sus trabajos. Al día de hoy ya llevamos más de 43 libros publicados, entre libros de cuentos, investigaciones históricas, temas curriculares y algunos otros elementos. Todo esto nos ha permitido seguir sumando recursos que antes no tenía la Secretaría de Educación. Y por ejemplo, este año 2025 estamos participando en las pruebas de evaluación de ERCE, que es una prueba comparativa regional, donde vamos a identificar competencias claves, que es un trabajo que estamos haciendo con UNESCO, con colaboración de nuestros hermanos chilenos. Eso para mí ha sido muy importante y resumo esa pregunta en esto. Tener una planificación, objetivos claros, siempre permite que identifiquemos recursos que se estaban invirtiendo en otra cosa y terminen en los salones de clase.
Thank you so much, Honorable. I think that this is very inspiring. I think that we can all learn from this. What I got from your intervention is the focus on literacy skills and bringing literacy skills to the classroom and how we can turn that into investment. And I think that this is a good lesson for everyone who is listening. I think that we can learn a lot from how the Ministry of Education handled this and handled the COVID crisis and how to move forward from that and how to keep education at high levels in Honduras. So thank you so much for your intervention. Now I will share my thoughts as a GPE youth leader and kind of touch on how young leaders like myself can effectively advocate for education investment and keep education investment as a global priority, as well as what role I think young people can play in shaping these financial priorities. And as a youth leader from Belgium, representing Belgium, but originally from Cameroon, I bring in a sort of dual perspective to education advocacy, because growing up in Cameroon, I witnessed firsthand how lived experiences and just conflict and just a very poor governance situation can affect opportunities for young people, especially young girls living in conflict areas. I've seen classmates drop out of schools. I've seen infrastructures in schools and materials not being enough for the education needs. And now that I'm based in Belgium, I have a different perspective where there's stronger public education, and young people like me, I think, can play a role in kind of bridging. Young people like me who have this kind of transnational view of things can bridge this gap. And I think to make education investment a global priority, we must act on multiple fronts. The first one we need to do is to build strong cross-border coalitions that connect grassroots realities to global priorities. Just like GPE does. And these alliances can help us push for increased official development assistance and ensure that funds actually reach the marginalized communities that are in need. Secondly, I think that we must demand that youth actually participate in budgeting processes, both nationally and internationally. It is over with the times where young people are used as tokens and just to fill a quota. There needs to be actual participation of young people in all these processes at each level of the decision-making process in order for the funds to actually, once again, go where they're needed. They need to be included. They need to work directly with ministries, need to work directly with international donors and financial institutions as well. And then lastly, I think that we must contribute to storytelling with data. We need to share testimonies and actually hear voices from these undeserved communities alongside evidence on the return on education investment. And I think that this will help strengthen education investment and the campaigns that we are trying to push in order to improve this funding. To conclude, I would like to ask Honorable Swanda if he can once again intervene to share his thoughts on what the most important step that governments can take to strengthen financing is, especially domestic financing, for learning and ensuring long-term future impact.
Muy bien, esa es una muy buena pregunta, porque uno de los problemas más graves que tenemos en los sistemas educativos como los nuestros, que compartimos con muchas regiones del mundo, creo que una de las cosas más importantes, enriquecedoras del GPE, de la Alianza Mundial de la Educación, es que podemos compartir experiencias y comprender que tenemos retos comunes. Y si tenemos retos comunes, juntos y juntas, podemos encontrar soluciones a esos retos comunes. Uno de los máximos problemas que identificamos nosotros en la región es que no se pueden desarrollar políticas de Estado, sino que son políticas del periodo de gobierno y son políticas muy cortas. Y al ser políticas muy cortas, siempre que hay un cambio de gobierno, se reinventa la política educativa. Y eso ha traído consigo que estemos a la saga en muchas partes del mundo. Pienso que una de las cosas más importantes para poder garantizar que los recursos se inviertan adecuadamente, pero además de que se inviertan adecuadamente, garantizar el financiamiento y la continuidad de las políticas, es lograr acercar a todos los actores, poner como centro de la discusión de nuestra planificación a los niños y a las niñas, hacer alianzas con el sector privado y lograr organizar a todos los actores políticos en función de esa planificación. El ministro del Salvador el ministro de Educación del Salvador, por ejemplo, y este es su servidor, en la región somos los que llevamos más tiempo en el cargo. Y eso nos ha permitido construir toda una dinámica o digamos un tipo de círculo virtuoso donde la mayor parte de los actores que están alrededor del sistema educativo nos ayuden a cumplir los objetivos. Y la buena gobernanza que hemos tenido en ambos países ha garantizado que podamos avanzar en las planificaciones. Precisamente el día de ayer tuve un evento muy lindo en una fábrica que se encarga de procesar caña aquí en la zona central de nuestro país. Y los empresarios que nunca habían estado ligados al sistema educativo, hemos logrado que hoy participen de manera activa y que ellos también en sus empresas estén poniendo recursos. El día de ayer, por ejemplo, inauguramos ya y hicimos el lanzamiento oficial del sistema de educación dual, donde los muchachos y las muchachas de los días de clases de la semana, unos días están en el centro educativo formándose y otros días están formándose en la empresa. Y la empresa está colaborando con alimentos, transporte y algo de recursos económicos para garantizar la continuidad de los aprendizajes. Pienso que construir estas alianzas de gobierno con el sector privado y la sociedad civil, las organizaciones no gubernamentales que están alrededor del sistema, sin duda siempre van a ser una fortaleza, no solamente para trabajar con el tema de los objetivos, sino también para garantizar el financiamiento. Cuando los sistemas educativos entregan resultados positivos y los ministros o las ministras de educación solicitamos más recursos para poder seguir haciendo proyectos innovadores, es muy difícil que nos digan que no. Pero cuando los sistemas educativos no entregan resultados, no generan gobernabilidad, pero lo más importante, que amplíen la cobertura, que mantengan la matrícula y que desde los salones de clase se crea gobernabilidad en los países, es muy difícil encontrar muchos más recursos. Ahora, nosotros hemos alcanzado, digamos, algunos resultados positivos como aumentar la matrícula, mejorar la permanencia de los estudiantes a lo largo del año escolar por diferentes programas, como el programa de alimentación escolar. Hoy más de 1.3 millones de niños hondureños están comiendo todos los días en las escuelas. Hemos reparado un número significativo de escuelas y no solamente las ha reparado el gobierno, las hemos reparado el gobierno, la empresa privada y algunas organizaciones no gubernamentales. ¿Y por qué insisto en esto? Porque hemos logrado construir un círculo virtuoso donde toda la sociedad de la región y particularmente el país está aportando en la medida de sus posibilidades esfuerzos, recursos y trabajo para mejorar el sistema educativo. En el tema de la alimentación escolar, tenemos algunos sectores donde los alcaldes municipales, que son los que gobiernan el municipio, están contribuyendo con recursos para agregar raciones frescas. Las mamás que no tienen suficientes recursos nos están ayudando de voluntarias para cocinar los alimentos en las escuelas y garantizar la alimentación. Algunos otros empresarios privados también están colaborando. Entonces pienso que esa relación y ese círculo virtuoso donde todos puedan contribuir, aunque sea un poquito al sistema educativo, ha permitido que utilicemos de manera más eficiente, de que todos los años, este gobierno nuestro, todos los años ha aumentado su presupuesto en educación para invertirlo en inversión pública y tenemos contrapartes del sector privado, de las corporaciones municipales, los gobiernos locales. Y eso a mí particularmente, que este ya es mi cuarto año de ministro de Educación aquí en Honduras, me tiene muy contento y entusiasmado. Y estoy seguro que el día que me toque dejar el cargo, quien venga va a recoger buenas prácticas y va a lograr seguir en esta misma dinámica. Y estoy seguro que esos actores que hoy hemos comprometido a colaborarnos para conseguir más recursos, también van a ayudar al ministro o a la ministra de Educación que venga después que yo entregue mi cargo.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for your contributions. I think that once again, we learn a lot from Honduras. And I think that, like I said, originally from Cameroon, I see a lot of similarities in the kind of issues that you spoke about in your response in the first question. And I think that I have learned a great deal about what Honduras is doing and will take these insights with me. So once again, thank you for your contributions. And it's very clear from this short discussion that investing in education is crucial for future growth and social change, not only in Honduras, in Belgium, but all over the world as well. And I will just say, let's continue to work together to make education a global priority. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen, for that insightful session that you had to take us through and lead. We do also appreciate you sharing your lived experience, your insight, and also your highlight of what you have experienced from your country. Thank you so much to our participants. We really do see your engagement and we do appreciate everyone who is participating in the chat. We are now coming to a very exciting segment, and it is called the Pass the Book. And in this segment, we have participants, and that is Mehedi, Rebecca, Carlos, Anjali, Joaquin, and Richard. Over to you.
This book is like a seed that was planted in my life when others saw only my limitations. As a visually impaired student, many believed that my garden could never bloom, that I could never grow. But here's what: education became my sunlight and it became my strength. The moment things changed in my life was when I gained a top student position in my class and my level, and I couldn't see my classmate faces, neither could I see what is happening on the board. But I could hear the beautiful voice and the words of my professor. And he said, "Anjali, your vision isn't a limitation, but it is focused differently. You see hearts and minds, not just the physical outside." And then is when I realized that education wasn't just filling my mind with knowledge, but it was nurturing my purpose, like a gardener who tends to wounded plants. I learned that as a visually impaired guidance officer and a youth leader, I could help young minds heal and help those who are struggling with mental health challenges. Education gave me roots when the world thought I could never ever grow. And it gave me wings when I thought to myself I could never ever fly. But hear what is bothering me and hear what breaks my heart. Brilliant minds are withering out there. They're withering without proper educational support. Every child deserves a gardener who believed in their potential to bloom. When we invest in education, we are planting forests of endless possibilities. Let us nurture every seedling today. Let us invest in education.
I remember a very difficult time when my father, who was ill, had to make very important choices just so I could go to school. And my mom, a stay-at-home mom, had to do everything she could, but our resources wasn't enough. Sometimes my father has to choose between buying the medicine he needed or paying my school fees. Despite the pain and sacrifices, he always chose my future. I also remember long evenings studying without electricity, without access to recommended books. It wasn't easy, but I knew that education was the only chance to change my life. Those moments taught me that strength doesn't come from what we have, but from what we are willing to overcome.
When I was in graduate school, my nonprofit club here was at an early stage. And then I found my mentor, Professor Reimers, who completely changed my trajectory. His classes on social innovation and systems change pushed us to think about the same question. How do we move from small pilots to bold systemic solutions that can be adopted at scale? He pushed me to make sure that we build with evidence and that we keep our children's voices at the center of every decision that we take. His guidance reshaped Club Here. Today, we impact 2.4 million children through our daily well-being classes across 22,000 public schools. Multiple state governments now invest in and create boldly children's well-being programs because of our work. What was a young student's idea is now one of the world's largest in-school well-being programs because of Professor Reimers. He made sure that I not only had the vision and the motivation to do what I do, but he also made sure that I was able to navigate the lonely path of entrepreneurship.
So I recall when I was 9 years old, my best friend gave me a call and he invited me to join the Scouts and just to have fun with him on Saturday. We were just playing around and stuff like that. And it was an experience that completely transformed my life and it went beyond any expectations I could have. We were learning, we were developing projects, we were developing our interests and building our character in a way that we didn't even notice because we were playing, we were having fun, we weren't inside a class, we weren't reading textbooks, we were actually developing what were our interests. So it was a truly transformative experience that totally shaped my character and marked my growth for the rest of my life.
As a youth leader from Burkina Faso, now in Italy, I envision a future where education is delivered as a social right, accessible to all. Holding this imaginary book, I dream of classrooms that embrace inclusivity, where technology bridges gaps and brings learning to every child, even in the remotest areas. To make this vision a reality, governments and stakeholders might prioritize increasing funding for education by investing in equitable access that can ensure that every child, regardless of background, has the opportunity to learn and grow. This commitment will unlock potential, foster creativity, and nurture leaders who will shape a better world. Let's harness our collective energy to advocate for these changes, urging policymakers to act decisively. Together, we can build a future where education is the key to unlocking possibilities for all.
Hello everyone. In today's world, I believe to ensure equitable education for all, we should prioritize bridging the learning gaps among the digital learning spaces. Even today, many children in Global South don't have access to internet and digital devices, which is necessary for digital learning. All we have heard today is the transforming power of education. Education fosters peace and has positive impact on health, economic stability, and environment. Today, we call on global leaders and educational stakeholders for increased funding in education. With this book in hand, we envision the future of education.
Thank you so much to all participants who took part in the Pass the Book segment for the very creative and insightful contributions. We say thank you so much. We now move on to a very important part of the program, which is receiving feedback and reflections from our online community. In this 3-minute segment, we will hear from Wadi and Cleopatra. They're going to give us the comments and also questions that are being gathered by the Zoom participants and also social media at large on all different platforms. I am pleased to invite Wadi and Cleopatra. Please, over to you.
Thank you very much, Memory, and thank you so much, everyone, for your incredible engagement and energy. The chats on social media have been buzzing with thoughtful insights, encouragement, and powerful reflections. We've received many great questions. We thank you, Abdallah and Zineza, Diana, Mercy, and Marley, among many other incredible people, for yours. While we can't address them all, we'll be diving into 2 questions. Zuleika Khan from the Philippines asked, how can financing models be redesigned to not only respond to crises, but to build resilient, future-ready education systems, especially in climate vulnerable and conflict-affected regions, for a more long-term and sustainable impact? Thank you for that question. GPE is redesigning its financing models to go beyond short-term crisis response, focusing on building resilient, inclusive, and future-ready education systems, especially in climate-vulnerable and conflict-affected regions. By integrating crisis preparedness into core planning, GPE supports countries to adopt risk-informed, climate-resilient education strategies. Flexible tools like the accelerated funding window and the multiplier enable rapid response while reinforcing long-term development and domestic commitment. Please keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts using the hashtag Futures Festival 2025, and let's continue building this collective momentum. Now, I'll pass it over to my fellow GP youth leader, Cleopatra, who will take us through more of your comments and reflections. Over to you, Cleopatra.
Okay, thank you so much, Adi, for that. So we had a lot of questions, very good questions coming from the audience. So we had questions coming from Mercy, Diana, and many more. So I had a question which came from Oiwana from Ghana, and then he asked that, how can we improve education in our country? So this is a very beautiful and significant question. So here are a few words on how we can improve quality education. So GPE has been supporting countries to invest in strong, inclusive education plans, and GPE supports countries to develop evidence-based, quality-driven strategies that prioritize learning for all, especially for the most marginalized one. By strengthening teaching and learning, GPE promotes teacher learning, training, assessments, and curriculum reforms to boost foundational skills and learning outcomes, and also increasing domestic financing sustainability progress. Depending on strong national investment, GPE ensures and increase educational and also fostering collaboration by governments, donors, youths, leaders, civil societies. GP ensures that we are aligned for a greater impact. Thank you so much for the questions. Keep on sending more. Really appreciate. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Wadi and Cleopatra, for sharing the valuable feedback and comments from the virtual audience. And to everybody, once again, we do appreciate your support and your participation. As we draw to our event and also a close with my co-moderator Regina and myself, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to you all, our speakers, participants, and guests, for your engagement and also for contributing and also adding your valuable insights during the conversation and during the discussions. Today's discussion has highlighted the importance of addressing these pressing issues and relating to the education system globally, and also making sure that there is an increased awareness on the importance of education and financing among key stakeholders, strengthening domestic financing for learning and building lasting impactful impact through collaborations, commitment, and innovation. We hope these conversations today have inspired you to continue taking action in your respectful fields and also respectful countries that you're coming from, be it Zambia, be it Ghana, be it any part of the world that you're joining us from. We would like to say thank you so much once again for joining us, and we wish you all the best in the ongoing activities and efforts that you're putting in, and we look forward to the future opportunities to continue and connect with you once again. Have a wonderful morning, have a wonderful afternoon, and have a wonderful evening, depending on where you're joining us from. From me, it is bye-bye, and thank you so much. Take care.